Okay, good afternoon. Everyone is well. Where are we? I can't believe we're nearly in September. I can't believe how quick this year's gone. It doesn't seem 5 minutes since we were returning from Christmas, and all of a sudden we're about 3 months away. Crazy, isn't it? So, market is open. So, at the moment, we've had a couple of legs up, a little pullback with a break and a new low and a small channel up. So, nothing too much at the moment. Let me just remove these. So, 2 legs up, leg down. Let's see if we make a new high from here. I suspect we will. My only slight concern is going along into these highs, but I don't think we're going to... let me just double check everything's open as it should.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. Okay,
Order
we've got
canceled.
some news coming up in about 30 minutes, which we could keep an eye on. But yeah, so we had a break for this and straight up, no entry or anything. Hey, Karina, how you doing? So nothing you can do there really. It just dropped and then woof up it went. Yeah, so channel break, new high. So let's see what we do here. I mean, there is a leg up. We could potentially make a second leg up. Who knows? I'm not sure what caused that last night. There was obviously some news, I'm guessing, unless it's just because we broke above there. But that's an abnormal move, that is. Has anybody got any ideas why that happened? I mean, just that one bar is... What is it from the lows to highs? It's 19, 21, 22, 23 points straight down. A little pullback and then another one. So like best part of 50 points almost straight down. I'm not sure. Did I hear something about Israel attacking somewhere? Is it Syria? I kind of vaguely remember something. Israel attacking Syria. Was that then or was that not? I have to keep an eye on that. So, new all-time high. So channel break, new high. Let's see what happens here. You know, I mean, there's a possibility that there could be a channel which stems from yesterday. It's certainly feasible. So we've got to move up, 2 legs back. Second leg wasn't as much, so I think there's a good chance we go higher. But there's nothing we can really do up here. Looking on bookmap, the reader's orders 507 and above, up until 510. So it's a bit too early. Excuse me a sec. Possibly somewhere along those lines as well. Yeah, I don't quite know why they've done it. Well, I'm just guessing it was that, but it was something I did hear yesterday. I had a feeling it was early in that, but it might not have been. But all of a sudden, market had a big drop. I mean, literally 2 bars, 40 points. Yeah, it's a shame, really, all these wars and stuff, you'd think. And it's all men. It's all men's fault. It's all men's responsibility. You think we'd have learned now, wouldn't we, not to use our fists or our trigger fingers or whatever, and learn to get on. We should be ashamed of ourselves, really. Men have got a lot to answer for in this world. They really have. But yeah, it's always the innocent people that suffer the most. they don't make the choices. They just have to live with the consequences. And it's a shame, really. Yeah, men have got a lot to answer for. We don't like to see anybody suffer, especially when it comes to children, and women and children, especially children. They're the most vulnerable and they tend to suffer the most. There's nothing they can do about it. It is frustrating. What can you do? You know, maybe it's just me, but we only tend to get things like this when it comes to highly religious countries. As we know, the Middle East is very religious. You know, when I was at school, we used to study RE, religious education. Now, I'm not really religious. I like to think there's somewhere else, and I like to think I'm going to see my family, you know, when it's my time. But religion, I always thought religion was a peaceful thing when I was at school. It's actually the complete opposite. Now, I know generally Christians in this country now are peaceful people, but they got a shady past. They certainly have. You know, Christians going back not so long used to do some appalling things, but it's a shame, really. I mean, religion really should be about peace, shouldn't it? And looking after people and caring for people. It's the complete opposite. In most cases, if you don't believe what I believe, then we have a problem. But I don't know. I mean, you don't so much get it in the Western society as really heavily religious people. I know a lot of the US are religious, but you've even got to look at places like Northern Ireland. The Catholic and the Protestants have been popping each other for years. It's better now than it was, but even in a Western society where, you know, you wouldn't consider them as fanatics, religion still plays a big part. Hey, Sam, how you doing, pal? So, have we got a channel up? Possibly. So, channel break new low. Let's see where this thing goes. It's hard to say at the moment. I've got that. I've noticed Marco's got it as well. So, push up, bounce up to the top, down to the bottom. But could quite easily just be a bit of a range. So, I wouldn't rely on that. You know, what I will say is if you take that to the top of there, it fits kind of nice there. So channel break new low. Now, bars a doji anyway. Is this going to push up? I think it's lightly. Trouble is there's liquidity down here, here and here, so it may not. Okay, so it certainly worked for a couple of points, but I think it's a bit too early to completely trust in it. Just going to add a little bit of colour to that. So we need quite a strong move above that EMA, really, if we're going to test this level. Trouble is, we had that quick move up to the all-time highs. We've made new all-time highs again once this morning and once again. So we've made 3 attempts to push up. First attempt dropped like a stone. That was obviously news related, I'm guessing. Strong pullback from there. Possibly the same here. So there is a failure there. Trouble is, it's just too early for me to confidently say, I believe this is going down, because if there is a bigger channel, chances are it's going to go up. Sometimes the market has a habit of doing that. It shows you something, it teases you in, and then sort of all of a sudden the chopper comes down and out you go. So channel break new low, push above that EMA. As long as we hold strong above there, I might look at an EMA, but now look at that. That's dropped quite strong, that has. Okay, so it's held a bit. I'll tell you what I'm seeing at the moment. Possibly this. So you've got to be a little bit cautious here. On that second chart, there is a higher low, but the bar's naff. Keeping an eye on that news, 20 minutes. Yeah, it's a little bit congested here, so that makes things a little bit more riskier. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's orders all over the place in Bookmap, so that's not super clear either. There's some orders around 95 down here. Little Hammer, how you doing, buddy? There's some orders at stronger orders at 95. That's probably where the strongest orders are here. But obviously then you've got to take into account the aggressive buyers and sellers as well, who just literally buy straight into the market. So we've got a channel down here with a break. Actually, it could be a triple test there to go short. The trouble is, there's a few traders got that. It could be, so I don't really want to be going short after we've had a break. Although price isn't getting above that EMA, I still think it's too early to go short. That is more like that. Well, you can see how nicely that's fitted along that midline, so I think there's a good chance that that could be valid. But I think you can consider it a triple test, but do you really want to go short when prices generally going up? A tough one. Will Mac take? That's hard to say. 1, 2, 3. Now, if we can make a higher low here, that might not be a bad option. There's a bunch of traders trapped there, I'm guessing. Trouble is, if this isn't valid, we've come down off new highs. We could get a second entry shorted to go lower. I think it's probably going to test these highs, but there's nothing you can do there really. You're going long right into the top of this. So for me, it's a no-brainer. There's not really much I can do. Marco took it. It's not for me, unfortunately, just in case. It's just a bit unclear. There does look like a little bit of congestion here, so you'd have got a couple of points out of it. It's a bit too congested for me. So we got a leg down. Whenever we have a push down into it and a bunch of times going sideways, often we get a second leg down here. So I think this is a little bit early. And this is flushing down, I think. So I'm glad I didn't go long there. So I think you'd have got 2 points off that at a squeeze. So tick above to the top. Yeah, you'd have got 2.5 points out of that. It's just too risky, I think. It's clearly congested. And look how many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look how many times we bounced off that top. 1, 2, 3, 4 times there. It's too sideways, that is. And there you go. So if I'd have taken that, I'd have lost that trade. And as I say, as we know, down, across and down, it almost, it does that a lot. So this, yeah, I'm going to get rid of that at the moment. It may be okay, but we may get 2 legs and then a push off. But it's starting to look more and more just as a range, I think. 2 perfect legs up to there. So where that measured move was. So leg and a leg. So it may well push up and go high. It's always possible, but at the moment it's just not very clear. So let's add a little bit of colour now to that. So I mean, that's quite a correction. So there's no reason why it won't continue up, but I think it's looking a little unlikely for me. We got a leg and a leg, possible higher low here, see, but it's just unclear. Do I think it's a range or do I got no idea really. May consider that overnight highs. So overnight highs there, which is here. So you can see a couple of touches there, touch there, a couple of touches there. Let's push that up a fraction. Yeah, it's not looking like a channel list. This is definitely looking like more of a range. So I'd expect to find some resistance, possibly there, somewhere around about there. I'm going to just pop that there, I think. Wow. Okay, folks, I've just had word that Apex has got 90% off and all PA fees. No way. Wow, so 90% off and PA fees at $85 for 25, 50, 100, 150. And $37 for the 250 and 300,000. So that's amazing, that is. So I'm going to be picking myself some more up. So I'm going to just put something on there. So let me just knock something out. I've only just had the email. So bear with me a second. That's fantastic. That is. That's the best deal they've ever had. That is 90% off an $85 fee. It's from now. Yeah, it's on now. Yeah. Let me just do something quickly. That's fantastic. That is. I've just had that now. I wish they'd give you some notice sometimes. Give me a second. 25, 50, 100, 150. That's brilliant. It's amazing, that is. That's the best deal Apex have ever had. Okay, bear me a second while I just adjust this. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Let me just quickly adjust this little panel here. Image slideshow. That should sort it out. August. Date wrong. Where is it? Let me just find out where it's from. I'll be with you in a sec. And this Tuesday the 2nd. Okay, sorted. That's a fantastic deal, that is. I'll be picking some of them up. I mean, that's ridiculously cheap. 85 is the cheapest they've ever had. But if you fancy something larger, the 250 and the 300, I mean, that's ridiculously cheap, that is. Crazy. Okay, so let's just check this. So, it's tempting that. Trouble is, gone too far now. There's nothing left. Shame. Nothing you can do up there, unfortunately. Fact, you know what? I actually don't even think we've had a break of that. Well, that's not looking like a possible break. That side is, so not sure there. Oh, sorry. Okay, excuse me just a sec. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Have I missed a trade there? Second entry short. Bar's not too bad, actually, but I'm going to leave it, I think. See if we get a lower high.
Order submitted.
2 legs up, see if we get a lower high. That's no good.
Order cancelled.
Ooh, there was news as well there. Break new high. See what we got up here. Channel break new high. See if we get some reaction to the midline here. Bit too congested here really at the moment to go short just yet. It may just pop up and clear these two here, which is this. It's not too far to go really. That measured move would take us up to there, which is nothing in particular. There is a lower high there. Just concerns me though. It's a bit stacked up, a little bit stacked up there. I would prefer it to go above these two bars here. You never know though, it just may work. It is a lower high, but it's a bit stacked up here. It may trigger and push up here, but it may come down. Well, there's our answer. It's just a bit sideways there, just a little bit. Yeah, someone's put their, oh, why it does that. Lower high looks a bit congested, and yeah, so it's one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But for me, it's a little bit stacked up. There's liquidity up here, see? So often, as we know, it'll push up, clear that liquidity then before. So, you know, if sellers are up here thinking we get another leg down here, really, sell orders, you kind of want to be up here, really. Let me just have a look. So about just above 90. So if you look here on Bookmap, you can see these orders here at 90. So as it sort of hits this midline here, possibly takes out those stops, that's kind of where I'd want to be selling. Well, look at that straight away. It's pulled straight back up and taken that out. So that concerned me. So depending on what you got point-wise, you may not have got anything there. So I think majority of people will have got their profit there. But that's why I left that. That hasn't pushed down strong at all. And I think it's possibly got a lot to do with liquidity still being up here and not enough sellers to push that down strong enough. So what I'm looking at here now is a move down with a measured leg from there to there. So if it pushes up, clears all this, we then may get another leg down. Or see, if you look at yesterday, what have we done? We've cleared the top two yesterday. We've got a leg down, looks like a correction. To me, it's testing these lows. I think it's going to push down to test these lows. So we've had a measured move there. So hopefully we get a bearish, strong bearish reaction here. Then we may have a leg and a leg. I'm not saying we definitely will. We've had a perfect measured leg there. Let's see if we get sellers here. There's not much in the way of sell orders here. They're more at about 90, a little bit higher, but doesn't mean to say there's not going to be a load of aggressive sellers, so we'll see. So that's what I think is a possibility. Let's see what happens here.
Order submitted.
Well, I'm surprised. Bar's no good there. Looks better on my other chart. It's very tempting. A perfect measured leg and then it pushed right down nice and strong. So I thought that was a cracker. Let's
Order cancelled.
It's on till the 2nd of September, bud. So just a little pop back up here in a sec. You can see it in red down the bottom. When's the second? It is. Up. Yeah, end the 2nd of September. It's all right. I'm just looking for. Okay, so it is on Tuesday. So bearing in mind it's bank holiday on Monday, so there'll be no trading anyway. So I'm going to pick myself up a bunch of them later, and I'm going to trade some this evening. I try and not trade them so much with my PA accounts. It's easy to get them messed up, I think. So I'm just going to pick up. I'm going to pick up half a dozen later, I think, and then try and. If I can try and get, so I've got 3 accounts at the moment with Apex. So I'm going to pick up 6, and if I can even pass 2 there, I think that'd be okay there. Hey Speedy, how you doing? You're welcome, Sam. Anytime, mate. But that's the best. That's the cheapest deal they've ever had there. They've had the 90% off with the 85 once, but they've never had it with the 250 and the 300,000 at $37. That's crazy. That is. The only downside to that is it's going to take a little bit longer to pass those. That's the trouble there. See if we can get a lower high below that EMA now. But the trouble is, it's come a bit too far for me now, I think. We'll see. We'd have to push below that EMA. You know what? I don't know why Apex don't keep it at 90% off and $85. I'm going to pick some up now. We'll all be open and ready then. Sorry, the only pain in the arse with Apex is doing this. You got to log in with factor 2. Authentic. Not say the word now. Authentication. Is that right? Authentication or something like that. Authentication. Is that right? Database connection failed. Oh shit! There's probably loads of people. Oh no, we're in. Okay. $17.70 for a $50 for $50,000. That's good. That is. One. To get a push below that EMA, really. 2. I wish you could buy more than one at once. Pain in the arse having to do it individually. If you want 20 of the damn things, you've got to set aside about an hour. Just going to pick up 6, I think, for now. And is that 3 or 4? 4, I think. Just quickly, when you do take them as well, before you pay, just check the amount. I messed up once and ended up paying $85 instead of $35. So just whenever you do them, just double check. I know it sounds a bit obvious, but it's easy done. Copy, paste. Okay, I think that's 5. Let's have one more. I don't know why they don't let you do up to 5 at the same time, or at least 2. It'd make life a lot easier. Okay, that's 6. Is that 2 legs up? Are we coming down or are we going to go up? It's hard to say at the moment. Depending on how you look at this, we've got a channel down there with a break. We haven't made a new low, so I'm guessing it's probably still going to go down, I think. There is a failure on this left side, but there's some support there, so I don't want to go short into support. It's just congested and it's a bit unclear. Now, depending how you look at this, we've had 2 legs up. So it could come down, but at the moment, it's just that second leg's gone a bit further than I expected. All it really needed to do was clear out a lot of this. Now, it has bounced off the overnight highs there, so maybe it's continuing down. It's hard to say at the moment, but well, it's definitely working. I looked at this, but it's a little bit sideways, and you just don't know going short into, I know it seems obvious, but you can see how many times we pushed that, bounce, bounce, bounce. It could continue up. Depends how you look at this small channel break, new low, but it's just one of those things. There's a bit of congestion here. It could break out, push back in. It's hard to say. A lower high here, trapping some longs, possibility, but I don't know. I'm just not sure what I'm seeing here at the moment. It's a little bit finicky. We've had a couple of pushes up, so this may come down, but once it broke below there and picked out liquidity, I'd have expected it to continue down, but it's actually pulled back quite well. No, I don't think that's valid. See, if you look here, there's a lower high there, which is trapped a bull bar. But something, what I'm seeing here is making me uneasy. It's not very strong in whatever it does. So I think this is a bit trappy and a bit unclear. It's starting to stack up a bit and get a little bit unclear. And I've got into trades like this before and it's gone against me. So I think the simple answer here, exactly. See, look at that. You think all of a sudden we got a bull bar here, we triggered, this thing's coming down. There's bound to be some traders thinking, oh, let's just go short in. And what happens? It closes, starts to push back up, straight above it. So this is risky at the moment. It's a bit testy. And I don't like what I'm seeing here. So I'm just sitting tight here. You can get stuck here. This is just, it's showing one thing and doing another. I know kind of what we think. If there's a bigger channel here, we've had 2 legs up, it's more than likely going to find these lows. But if there's a smaller channel there may be a small break, or we might have had a break and made a couple of attempts, in which case they may feel it might push up. It's just not super clear at the moment. I think after a while, you know, when you've lost trades in areas like this that are a bit unclear, you tend to learn. They do teach you. And then when you see these pictures again and the way it's moving, there's just something that makes you feel uneasy. And I've got that feeling right now. So it's kind of giving that impression it's going short, but I'm not super convinced. I wouldn't be surprised if this pushed up above all this, cleared out liquidity. You can imagine there's bound to be shorts there with a failure, and up here as well, a couple of legs. So I wouldn't be shocked if that pushes up, takes out that and that. It may not, but this to me looks very precarious, and it looks like it's sucking in shorts. And that makes me nervous. So if you'd have gone short there, that bar there on the left, you're about to get stopped out. And if that gets stopped out, I think that will as well. Yeah, so we're above there. So if you think 2 legs up, oh, there's a failure there, let's go short. Now, you might have got enough points there anyway, but so you'd have got 2.5 points out of it. But a lot of traders see may ride that down to the lows. And straight away, what happens? It's pushed back up, taking it out for a tick. So this is a bit too choppy, and it's an uncomfortable looking bit of chop, and it's making me nervous. So hence, now you could say 1, 2, 3, a potential second entry there. Sorry, triple test. I actually don't think that's that bad, but the trouble is this is just a bit unclear. And I think the simple answer is just to be very cautious here, because it's very easy to get sucked in. It is looking like it may push. You may argue that's a triple test, but the trouble is that bar there is right in the middle of that lot. And this isn't very clear, so it's showing you one thing and quite likely doing something else. So if you'd have been in that trade there, it starts to go down, all of a sudden starts to pull back. So this is just riskier. So I'm just sitting tight. I've played these games before and it doesn't end well. Yeah, it may work, it may not, but it's clearly congested, which is just it's a big flashing caution sign in my head. like it's starting to get through, but then all of a sudden it does that. Look, that's the trouble. Sly these markets are. Don't trust them. Yeah, there's big orders up here, 94, 95, right up here. Right above these stops. Okay, so we're below there, so that's something. So it may now continue down, I'll say. Oh, excuse me. Every time we get below one of these areas and clear liquidity, look better on there, it starts to push back up. It's not just dropping. So, and now it does look like we may have be finding some support. So we've had 2 legs up. We've made 1 attempt to go lower, 2nd attempt to go lower. It's hard to know, really. It's hard to know what I think. I mean, it kind of looks like a penguin style setup. We've got a channel. We've had 2 legs up. We've made 2 attempts to go lower. Once it's above that EMA, it's more likely going to get up here, but I'm not sure at the moment. If I was to take a guess at what I'm seeing at the moment, I'd say it's more likely to get to the top. Just because we've had 2 pushes down and we couldn't get below there. So the trouble is, that's what I'm saying. I'm not certain. I think it's more likely after the 2 pushes down and a strong bull bar. But I wouldn't trade it because I'm not that confident. So there is some buy orders at 85, which is just below there. So it may clear that out and it may push up where it come. It's just not clear at the moment. Let's have a look and see how everybody else is doing today. It's up a bit. And that is as well. Good. Yeah, it's dangerous, this is. Oh. Yeah, there may be the start of a channel down. You studied Pat's trading? Yes, I have, mate. That's what I've been doing for the last little over 4 years. Yeah. It's not easy, but I do believe it's a solid strategy. I think it's like most strategies. Now, I've only really kind of studied the one, in all fairness. Little bits of others, but it's the thing is, the strategy is relatively easy. Teaching someone what a second entry is, what a failure is, higher low, lower high, triple test, relatively straightforward. The real trick and skill is applying it to the correct context of the market. That's 80% of it, I think. The trouble is, it's not always that clear. The market's got a habit of kind of showing you one thing and doing another. So it's just, you kind of got to sit there. I don't think it's going to get up there, but you kind of got to just sit and learn from it day after day. Take some trades. If they win or they lose, learn from them and kind of move on. But I think it's a good strategy. And for $125 a year, it's a no-brainer. You know, I've known people who've paid a few $1,000s and got nowhere near as much value as from Pat's. It's a genuine guy, Mac is. I don't always, you know, like certain ways he does things. You know, me and my best friend, we kind of believe in completely different politics, but he's still my best mate and I respect him. So there are certain things. I've been a bit dry the last couple of months, but I had a little bit of a hiccup, panicked a bit, made me stop. But yeah, I'd had 5 months in a row. I got my accounts up to a few thousand and I got payments every month, and then something happened. I was a bit stressed or a bit down, moved me stop a bit. Yeah. So that's what I was concerned with. This is just too congested. So shorting this down to the lows is dangerous. I put that there and that's exactly where it's gone. Obviously it's moved sideways a little bit, but that's exactly what I was concerned of. It kind of showing you that it's moving down, but it's not doing it very strong. So I think always be, when it's really struggling slowly to grind down, always be cautious that it's not all of a sudden going to turn up and clear everything up there. It's got a habit of doing that. Yeah, how you doing? Where you from, Matt, anyway? It's always nice to have some new faces. But yeah, I consider myself lucky for coming across Mac, because there are so many people out there claiming this, that, and the other and charging you huge amounts of money. A guy that's charging you $125 a year is not ripping you off that much, I can assure you. You're from Porn. Oh, good. Yeah, good to have you, mate. But yeah, they're not ripping. He's not ripping you off, Mac. He charges a small amount. Considering how many, you know, how much he puts into the YouTube channels. Now, he doesn't get huge views on YouTube. To make money off YouTube, you've got to get huge views. He doesn't. So that tells me he does it out of the enjoyment of doing it. And for $125 a year, it's absolute peanuts. I actually feel like I'm ripping him off. So yeah. Yeah, it's a straightforward strategy. The key is, and I know this from experience and going through it, it's filtering out the crap and the uncertainties and waiting for that solid trade. It's not easy. It takes a lot of time. And I think really the way really that we kind of get there in the end is by taking shit trades. And see, if you think about it, when you take a trade, you're invested in that. You're looking at it. You're not having a quick 2-second glance at it. You're focused on it. You're looking at a picture, and that picture sticks in your mind. So whenever if it goes south and it doesn't work and you lose money, whenever you see that picture again, once it's happened a few times, something in there goes, I don't like this. You know, we've all driven through a city or something like that before, or an area, and thought, I've been here before. Now, you've probably only driven through it before. You weren't really paying much attention, but obviously we know your brain picks certain things up. So the more you see a certain setup that doesn't work, whenever you get that picture in your head again, I just think it's like a memory bank of pictures, good pictures and bad pictures. And whenever something pops up, you're thinking, I've been here before. It's working slow. It's struggling to go down. This isn't good news. And you start staying out those trades. And then when they'd have gone against you, that kind of solidifies that, that sort of, that feeling. And it's just building up experience like anything. If you're a doctor in a hospital, if you've come across a certain condition 100 times or however many times, when that sort of picture arises again, something in your head, okay, we've been here before, it's chances this, it's chances that. And that's just purely by experience, just doing it every day. You can't help but it's a physical impossibility to not to get better at trading if you're doing it every day. So that's how I see it. So this, to me, it's just struggling. And that always makes me nervous. Sometimes the slower it moves down, the quicker it moves up, and vice versa. And it did exactly the same there. Any stops there, woof, straight out. Didn't go above there, didn't really need to. It's not really necessarily a selling point. But we've bounced once, 2, 3 times now. So what's it going to do? I still don't know. It's a little bit untrustworthy. And I think sometimes if the market's not being very clear and it's being a bit shady, I think you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, keep it at arm's length, and just wait for something really obviously. Because it's trappy at the moment. And you'll get caught out. So, I used to hate not taking a trade in a day. It doesn't bother me in the slightest now. Because, it's our job really to sit here, focus on the trades, on the chart, wait for a trade and take it. You don't always get one. So if you sit here all day, you don't get a setup and you walk away without making a penny, good on you. You've done a good job, because that's all you can do. You can hope and wish and pray as much as you like. If the market doesn't give you an offering and you take a trade, you're taking it out of luck. And you learn it eventually when you've been punished enough. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I'm just like you guys. I don't sugarcoat anything. It's hard. It takes time. I'm just here every day like you guys, plugging away, just trying to get better, trying to improve and trying to have an easier life. What I will say, though, I tend to average about 3 hours a day. So I wouldn't even consider myself semi-retired. I do that little work, really. It's not hard work, is it? It's obviously stressful at times, but it's not difficult. You're always in the dry. You're always in the warm if it's cold outside. You can keep yourself cool if it's hot outside. You want some time off? Take it off. You want to go out? Drop trading for the day. You can do whatever you want. So the benefits to being a trader are fantastic, really, especially if you like your freedom. I've never liked working for other people. They just fill you full of what they want you to hear. And you work your ass off for them and no one gives a toss. All they care about is themselves. I've worked for some good bosses, don't get me wrong, but most of them, jobs have changed. I know we're going back years, before I was born and all that. You were respected, you got looked after. In a lot of cases, you got a house with a job. But I found over the years, your bonuses almost disappear. Your wage rises get smaller and smaller. It's all about shareholders and money and making as much money as you can and screwing everybody else. Absolutely. Freedom. Fantastic. Yeah. See, let's make myself a bit bright. My daughter, since COVID, has suffered with extreme anxiety to the stage where I've taken her to school and we're sat in the school parking yard and she's been physically shaking. It's horrible to see your kids like that, but that's what COVID's done. We were all kind of told we've got to stay in. It's not safe outside. People were dying all around us, and it got in her head. So fortunately, I was able to be here with her every morning and try and encourage her and try and get her into school. And if she didn't go to school, be at home with her. So it's really been good for us. Yeah, it's all right, mate. It happens. You're not the only one. I know in the UK it's been a big thing since COVID. But us as adults, we can kind of understand it and process it. But kids, all they saw is the news, because there was news everywhere. People dying all around the world. I think at one point there was about 2,000 people in the UK dying a day. It was a pretty scary time, especially for kids. And it affected a lot of kids. And the trouble is, obviously, you parents out there, when your kids are young, I know when my daughter was 1, she went to nursery 1 day a week. And when she was 2, she went to nursery 2 days a week and up to a school age. So you kind of wean them off you slowly. Get them used to, being able to manage being away from you. Because obviously, when kids are little, your parents, you're the whole life really, aren't you? And then all of a sudden, COVID came along pretty much out the blue, and everyone had to stay at home. So your kids kind of reattached to you. And then all of a sudden, through that scary time, then it's okay, off you go back to school, and they hooked back up with you, and she just found it hard. And, obviously we went through that process of having meetings and trying to encourage, and then you start to realise it's happening to many, many kids. I never thought in this day and age with, technology, medicines, science, you wouldn't really think something like that would affect literally the whole world. I mean, the last time I think I ever remember something like that was it the massive flu epidemics a long time ago or something like that? There's probably been things, but nothing in my lifetime. But it was a really odd time. I wasn't scared or I just thought I'm relatively healthy. As long as we're sensible, it didn't put the fear of God at me, but children are another matter. We tend to understand the world, the way the world works, but kids, it was a scary time for them. So it was ideal that I was able to be here with her every day. So, I don't tend to work till around 1:30, 2 in the afternoon UK time. So I had that whole session in the morning. I used to take her breakfast in bed and, get her up, get her showered and just try and encourage her. And if I was lucky enough to get her into school, great. But most of the time, it never happened. There's nothing worse than sitting in a car park and watching your little child or your little girl physically shaking. It wasn't nice at all. The trouble is, when people are having panic attacks, there's not a great deal you can do. But she's better. She's much better now. Gets a little bit anxious, but she's off to college this year. Grown up a bit. Got a boyfriend now. She's out a lot. So the last 6 months, she's just literally, it's night and day. So, but they grow out of stuff. But trading was wonderful for me, really. It made life so much easier. Before that, I was out 9-10 hours a day. My wife works as well. So, it'd have been tough. But there you go. So it's life, isn't it? We all have our struggles, and touch wood, we're all relatively healthy. We got no major issues, and there's a lot of other families going through a lot worse than we are. So you lost everything with COVID, got stranded for 6 months always. You care of the government benefits they denied when I started again. Trouble is, if you were travelling, you were in the UK. It's a shame I didn't know you there. You could have come and visited me. I'd have put you up for a few nights and cooked you a nice meal. My wife wouldn't have minded. But yeah, a lot of people. I know my niece was over in, I think, Australia at the time, and she couldn't come back for a long time. So yeah, if you were on holiday and that, it was a tricky, wasn't it? I remember I finished work one day and I just remember watching the news in the evening, and big Boris Johnson came up and said, I'm going to give you one instruction, stay at home. And that was it. The whole country changed overnight. Strange. Yeah, you're still working, yeah. It was a strange time. So, I mean, we were okay, really. Because I was self-employed, we had handouts from the government, and obviously we weren't really spending much. We weren't out clothes shopping. We're getting dark. We weren't going out for meals, so we weren't spending a lot. So we ended up just doing our garden. You know, it was nice in a way that you got to spend a lot of time home with your families, which is something we don't often do. So, but it must have been tough for people who may have had businesses that they've put their whole life into, and all of a sudden, you know, it was definitely a lot tougher. Let's go into doll. It's definitely either look pale or bloody red. Sorry. Yeah, but it obviously affected some people a lot more. Obviously, you know, touch wood, fingers crossed, we never lost any family members, but I do know a few people that did. So, you know, we were lucky in the end. Where am I in the UK? You played some music. Have you really? I live in I say it's a well-known place. I live in a place called Shrewsbury, which is where Charles Darwin was born, went to school, and kind of was raised. So that's kind of our claim to fame. And if you're looking at the UK map, it's about 50 miles west of Birmingham. So you haven't heard of it? No, it's in a place called Shropshire. It's about 50 miles west of Birmingham. But Charles Darwin was born here. So you can still go into his school now. It's our library now. It's an old stone building, 500 years old, right opposite a castle. So it's a nice place to live, actually. So what do you play? What music do you play, Matt? I play a little guitar. You played in Birmingham. Yeah, that's about 50 miles from us, straight up the M54 motorway. It's not far at all. You can be there in an hour. So what do you play, mate, if you played in Birmingham? Were you a famous singer? Please tell me. I'm guessing you're a musician, aren't you? So this looks like a leg down with a possible correction. There is a possibility this could come down. So come on, mate, I'm curious now. What do you play? I actually play a bit of violin as well. I could probably show you me playing the violin if you're interested. Fuck. I've got some real skills when it comes to violin playing. You wouldn't believe. Oh, the OT. Oh, I got you. I got you. I got you. I'm just trying to find a video of me playing the violin somewhere. Ah, there it is.
Yeah.
There you go. Can you hear that?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Took me no time at all to learn that. That's natural ability, that is.
Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Natural. They don't make him like that, do they? Okay, so 2 legs up, possibly a lower high, a channel break, new high, lower high. Do I like that? I'm very tempted to go short here.
Order submitted.
Let's see how this finishes. Hmm. Hmm. No,
Order
there's something
cancelled.
about this I'm just not wrapped about. Okay, so that bar has triggered. Let's see if it works. I think it probably come down to the EMA, but there's just no room there. I took it tick below there. There's like a point to the EMA. There is a correction though, so that's interesting. That a lot of times when we get a leg, we get a correction. It'll continue down and make a second leg. So if we can push below that EMA, I'm a good dancer as well. I've got some dance moves. I'll show you. There you go. Don't make dances like that anymore. It's my morning workout. That was a few years ago, actually. Ah, that's max chart. Oh, let's make that a wee bit bigger. So, okay, there's that chart there. So he's got that big. He's kind of looking for a lower high. Yeah, he had that as well. So it was kind of valid. Sticking to second entry only. I actually find I get better luck with higher lows. It's more of a, I just find second entries lately not as reliable. I actually prefer lower highs, but don't let that put you off. That's just the way I've kind of, adapted and so on. But some big orders up here, big sell orders up here, 700 odd orders. Trouble is, there's not as many setups as there was a couple of years ago. Whether it's that or whether I took more trades just because I took crap trades, that might be why. But it does take time. Many times I've sat here thinking I'm not going to get this, and then you just keep plodding along and keep coming back. And then sooner or later, things start to just work a little bit. So I'm glad I didn't take that lower high. It's just a bit unclear here. It wouldn't have worked for the Thru. I go for 3 points, I do. Good setups move, and I just find, I know, when you start pats, most people go for a point, but I think now the majority of people go for 6 ticks minimum. It tends to be 6 ticks, 2 points. Thomas Wade goes for anywhere between 10 ticks, I think, is things. Sometimes he'll do 2, sometimes he'll go for 3. On the rare occasion, if there's a short move, he might go for 6 ticks, but I'm not interested in a point. Trouble is, especially as a newbie, especially with the ATR as it is now, you can win 4 trades, pick up a point each one, and then lose 4 points and end up in the red. So it's just not worth it for me, a point. I don't want to put myself through it, but I wouldn't just, do it. You've got to kind of crunch the numbers. But I go for 3 points. That way I take less trades. If you take a solid trade, a good strong position, it'll do 3 points and some. Yeah, I wouldn't do 4 ticks. And in fact, Mac even made a video, and he's only done it once. He made a video maybe 8-10 months ago. Most people remember it. That's saying if you can only afford to go for 1 or 2 contracts, you need to go for more points because the maths doesn't work. And it doesn't. It's difficult to make money just trading for 1 point. Now, if you're a skilled chart reader and you have a runner as well, that can top your money. But if you're only trading 1 or 2 contracts and just going for a flat 4, you're going to struggle. I genuinely mean that. I think a good starting place personally is 2 points. But what I'd say is look, no, I don't use a runner. Mac will suggest that you really want to be going for 5 contracts before you use 1 contract as a runner. So he talks about 20 to 25%. Now, I know Mac scalps 15 ticks and goes for 5 on a runner, but every trade I've seen him take recently, his runner gets taken out. So I don't think it's worth it at the moment. But I think the only way you're going to make 4 ticks work is if you have a runner. You're going to struggle otherwise. You need to be getting at least a 90% win rate, at least, before you really start making anything. But I don't think many people. I know people like Dan now. He has a runner, but he goes for 6 ticks. Marco again. He goes for 6 ticks. But I think the majority go for 2 points and above. You'll find very few trades that don't make 2 points. So if you go from a point to 2 points, effectively, you're making 100% more profit every time. I can afford to win 2 and lose 1 and still make more money than Mac does. Point for point, that is. So it's just, I mean, I started at a point 4 years ago, like everybody else, relatively quickly, went to 6 ticks, then went to 2 points, and then maybe a year or so ago, I went for 3 points, and it's just better. So for every 3, if I win 3 trades at 3 points, I can effectively afford to lose a trade and be no worse off. So it's better for me. 9 points a second leg up, yeah. And obviously when you get used to reading the markets and you identify these legs, you can go for a bit more, and hold on. When I started streaming about 2.5 years ago, that's what I did. I didn't put my profit in a specific way. If I was going long here, I'd take my profit up here somewhere, and as it moved up, I'd just sort of gingerly move my stop up and try and get as much as I could. And that worked okay, but I found it stressful, constantly moving and adjusting, and now I kind of like the fact that I have my risk and my 3 point, and I kind of just like to leave it alone. It's less stressful, I think, but it's relative. See, if you've got 100,000 in your trading pot, you can afford to do stuff like that and try and afford to get a little bit more. But if you're kind of trying to build accounts, I just find just getting your profit, getting out, and then yes. Yeah, I went through phases of putting it a couple of ticks, and I went through phases of putting it a lot more, but I just put it 1 tick now. I don't mess around with it now. If I take that buy, it'll be 1 tick below there. On the rare occasion, if there's 2 bounces, that's a stronger position. Sometimes it'll take that out and move it. If there's only a tick difference, I may adjust it, but that's kind of, but 19 times out of 20, I don't do anything with it. I just put it 1 tick below the signal bar. But if you run, how long you been trading? Incidentally, how long you been trading? So there is 2 legs up there. It does look like some form of a correction. So we got this big move down, 2 attempts to push high. If we can get below that EMA, then my guess is we would then test the lows, certainly this area first. But often we'll see that 2 legs. But there is some big sell orders, passive sell orders at that 500, right where that measured move is. So it may take that out first. But I think there's a good chance this thing possibly continues down. I don't think it's a channel. It's too broad. to find someone who trades that. Yeah. Anytime, mate, anytime. You know, I'm happy to, if you want to private message me, and I've been saying this for the last 2.5 years, if you got any questions, nothing worse than when you're learning to trade and something's on your mind that you can't get an answer to. So you can private message me on Facebook anytime you like. I'm happy to talk shop. I'll always answer. Trading's my passion. It's my interest as well. So I know what it's like when you're newish. It's frustrating. I don't know how many times I went to bed and I couldn't sleep because I had something going on in my head that I just couldn't get an answer to. So anytime you like, mate, ask away. Never do anything, never charge anything, not interested in that. I'm just passing on. I'm just like you guys, trying to make me way. But I think more experienced guys help the younger guys out, and then obviously things change over a couple of years, and it's about helping each other. And you know, a little bit of a friendly word if you're having a bad day helps a long way. I've had plenty of help myself. You're welcome, mate. But if you're not a member of the Facebook group, make sure you sign up to that. That's worth its weight in gold as well. Now, you might be a member, but if you're not, I'll show you. That's it there. Now, when I joined this 4 years ago, every single night I'd post my chart here and ask for feedback. And slowly, it's funny. You see this down here with this move down here and this correction. That's kind of what I'm looking at there. Move down there with a correction and this move down. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But people like Marco post his chart every day. Look at his chart. Compare yours to his. He does his every day. Dan sometimes as well. There's various different. There's Dan there. Another very experienced trader. Really talented trader. But he's got a. You might know all this anyway, but just in case you don't, he's got a Discord as well, which I'll show you. Oh, that there. I think he charges $25 a month for it. But there's some great people in there as well, and he posts his charts. What he's looking at as well. He's a very solid trader. He's been doing it years, makes a stack of money. He's very, very good at it. So this is good. You know, I'm a member of here, fortunately, because I have a little advert on there and help him out with a few. I don't have to pay for him, but this is definitely one I'd suggest if you need that little bit of ongoing stuff. But I'm here every day. So there's plenty of other experienced traders in here as well. I know Karina doesn't trade Pats, but I know she's been trading a while. Our lovely Spanish lady. There's a bunch of people in here that have been trading on and off for years. So, how long have we been going for? Hour 35. Yesterday I thought was a bit of a pain. It's turning out today's not much better. Excuse me a sec. Possible second entry long there. If this is a channel, this may have a drop out and clear this. I'm not convinced it is a channel. I think we've had a move down and this is a correction. So I don't really feel like going long here. I don't like this as a channel. So this may just be a couple of legs up and a push below the EMA. So my gut instinct is this is coming down. I could be completely wrong, of course, but I think this is, however it does it, something like that. And then eventually to those lows, below those lows. My gut feeling, this looks more like a correction because we've got a big wide move in between. Push up, slowly getting down and another move up. So I'm not getting involved in a trade here. But I obviously could be wrong. It actually looks quite nice here, but I've done this before. This to me looks more like a correction than a channel up. And we've had a correction more or less to the tick. So I don't want to be going long here. Because that's what I think, you know, when you see these pictures enough, you get to start to know how it generally works most of the time. Obviously nothing's set in stone, anything could happen, but we've got this clear move down and clearly two legs. So if I was a betting man, I would say it's more likely to go down, but I'm not super convinced. But enough to not get into a long, put it that way. Now, we still have got a bunch of orders. We've got 714 orders sitting at 6,500, which is one tick above that bar, which is right with that measured move. So it may not get hit. It's such a strong amount of orders there. It may not get hit. So I think that is more likely. I'm going to add a bit of colour to that. But I could be wrong. If I was that confident, I'd be trading it. But it's just my experience is telling me. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? You just never quite know, really. I mean, my gut feeling is this is going to come down, but it doesn't mean it won't push up, hit them sell orders before it does it. You know, when you sit here enough, you'll start to just, this picture will start to seem familiar. Oh, thank you, Karina. You're good company as well. Yeah, there's a doji there. See, it could push up or it could come down, but we've had two pushes up and it's going sideways there, so it doesn't seem to get the legs. It's not got the legs to push up for me. If you look at bookmap, you can see them bunch of orders up there, but sometimes they just never get it. 725 orders, that's the biggest lump of orders I can see there. You can see them on here. So it may hit that before it comes down, or it may just drop. Sometimes if they've been there a long time, sometimes they just don't get it. So let's see what everybody else is thinking. Someone said triple test higher low. There is a higher low there, and it is pushing up. Trouble is, because we've had this measured leg all bar a tick and started to go sideways. Straight away, I'm cautious. We've got one on here, but it's not looking great on this side. Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Got a moody teenager on my hands. So we know those orders are up here. I know it's a bad trade, actually. I'm just a bit cautious at the moment because of possible 2 legs. But I am aware that there are a bunch of orders up here. So it may push up and hit that before it does anything else, possibly pushes down. Okay, I'm going to knock it on the head there, guys. I've done well, I did an hour before and I've done another hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to drop my daughter off in town, peeing down outside, so she's going to get wet. So I'll leave you guys to it. So have a great day. Have a good evening. I'll be back tomorrow. So there's no trading on Monday. There's a holiday of some sort. I was unaware it came around. I know Karina mentioned it yesterday. So I'll be back same time tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe. You're welcome, guys, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.